Hello and welcome to this month's installment of Hector's Highlights. This is the 12th time that I have recommendations for you, where I think that these pieces of art have a value to them that goes above entertainment. So let's get right into it, starting off with books. The first book recommendation I have for you is a whole fantasy series by the name of Skulduggery Pleasant. This fantasy series is written by Landy, who was a horror movie director maker before he started this series. The series is about Skulduggery Pleasant, the skeleton that you can see on the cover of this book, and his partner Valkyrie. They live in a world where magic is real and where magic is very dangerous. I read this around the time when I was like 14, 15, 16. There are still books coming out. I think they're in phase 3 now with 15 books. This was the time where other people at my age read Harry Potter, but I got into Skulduggery Pleasant first, and after that Harry Potter was kind of boring to me, because in Skulduggery Pleasant people get beat up and like ancient gods come upon the earth and everyone's like super sarcastic and it's kind of edgy compared to other youth novels. And that kind of made it special to me, and because of that it still has a special place in my heart. So if you're looking for an alternative to the usual Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter's, this might be the thing for you. I'm saying this without discrediting the other series. I read them as well. They're great as well in their own right, but this one has a special place in my heart. The second book I have for you this month, although I can't really recommend it, is Ali Abdaal's Feel Good Productivity. The reason why I can't recommend it is because I haven't read it all the way. I'm right in there, started to read it right now. Ali Abdaal is a YouTuber and entrepreneur talking about productivity and learning skills and optimizing your day-to-day life. And this is his first book where he tries to propose a system where we have a well-being as the basis that automatically leads to being more productive. He talks a lot about studying medicine and how to build systems that help you learn and retain information. So that was kind of the reason why I found him, and then I got into his productivity kind of algorithm. Right now the question on my mind is what the value of a book is when he has the resources online on his YouTube channel, and what findings he has put into this book that you can't find on his YouTube channel. And with this being like my third or fourth self-help book, I always try to remind myself that these books propose a certain system, but that usually reality is more complex and you can't just take the system and then put it into action, but usually you have to filter what findings work for you and what works best for your life and your ambitions. But this book also started off with that, so it's kind of self-conscious, saying, yeah, I encourage you to try what I will recommend here, but see what works for you, which is realistic and what I think should be the introduction to any good self-help book. So if you stumble upon self-help books that don't do that, you should be on the lookout. That's it for literature, so let's continue on with movies and series. This month I haven't watched a lot of movies, but I watched one, and that was Ladybird. I wanted to watch Ladybird since it came out because it made like a small splash online, and I think they got 2 Oscars, or at least were nominated. So I wanted to see what it's all about. I watched it, and it's a feel-good movie kinda. It's like soft drama. It's a coming-of-age movie in a middle-sized American town in Sacramento. Our main character is a girl named Ladybird in her senior year of a Catholic private school. She has the typical finding yourself, losing yourself, finding yourself, having first times of a different kind, losing friends, finding friends, rediscovering friends, and then finally kind of reaching your dream just to realize that it's the same shit as your everyday life. It's about growing up and it's about family dynamics. I say soft drama because it has a charm to it. It has a kind of comedy to it. And it finds a very nice balance between stereotypical but over-the-top characters and heartfelt moments. I don't really get why it made such a big splash. I could be because I can relate with everything because I'm a guy and I don't live in America, but it's a good time and I would recommend watching it at least once if you want to feel good or if you want to kind of get that nostalgic feeling of growing up. My recommendations regarding music this month will be a little bit different. Usually I have 3 songs in one album. This time I have one song, one kind of genre that I would like you to listen to, and the third one is an album. The song I'd like to recommend to you is Keep Steady by So Kamo. This is a smooth hip-hop song, more like trap, very modern, very ADHD, but smooth. His vocal inflections are very catchy, remind me of Roddy Ricch a little bit. As you can see in the music video he uploaded, he's kind of a newcomer. I think the song has only a couple thousand views. It has a couple of streams though. I think the Spotify algorithm pushed that. Yeah, I'm just into music that makes me feel like a smooth criminal, smooth operator, like stuff that you could shoot a commercial to, like a fashion commercial, where you can have like a photo shooting, like a photo shoot for new street clothes or whatever. I have a special task for myself ahead of me. Talking about a genre, because on the internet you can't say shit without somebody hating on you. So yeah, I'm not an expert, I'm just a music lover, and the genre I have for you today is chill or lo-fi breakcore or dreamcore or hexed or ambient drum and bass. Don't worry, I have examples and I have an artist I want you to check out so you can listen for yourself what I mean. Because electronic music and everything with like core behind it is very niche and has a very complicated history behind it, and only minor differences in genres. That's why I have this in the background. This is a website called musicmap.info, which shows genres and their connection and like their context and history. As you can see, everything that is red here and then going into pink here and into purple on the left is electronic music. So is noise music, techno, hard techno, house, and even here the genre I was looking for was, you can't see it because it's too small. You have to zoom in a bunch, but it's an interesting website. I'll link it down below. It kind of connects so many different factors in a crazy way of presentation, which I really enjoyed. If I would be the guy naming it, I would just call it digital nostalgia, because you have these fast, hectic drum breaks paired with sweet and soft piano samples, and then these very airy vocal samples, usually from video games or some shows from the 2000s, 2010s, from the past, that want to stay there and want you to come there. The whole aesthetic is based around internet culture, digital culture, before it was commodified. So not the Facebook, Instagram, social giants we see today, but the internet where you went on MySpace or whatever, or pirated a whole ass album of some website. They gave you a virus or cracked your software to edit your video, kind of like that. So nostalgia for a more Wild West internet. And the feeling that describes this music for me the best is like being overwhelmed but still clinging onto hope, kind of escaping reality in video games. That's kind of how it sounds. I have an artist that I'd like you to check out, ooxygen. I'll have them linked down below, and I hope this gives you an entry into electronic music and more niche kinds of music. I'm kind of sick of seeing the whole lo-fi cafe, lo-fi restaurant, lo-fi this, lo-fi that, and it's just lo-fi hip-hop and being kind of the grandchild of nujabes and being super commodified. So I always try to look for stuff that sounds similar to lo-fi, So similar that like people who listen to lo-fi casually might get into it and find something that is more special, I guess. The album I have for you this month in usual hip-hop head fashion is Illmatic by Nas from the year 1994. This album only has 10 songs and a runtime of about 40 minutes. It's a hip-hop East Coast classic. Nas is the big bro of the big bros today, so he's kind of the big bro of someone like Jay-Z. This album is very genre defining in a time where hip-hop kind of found its footing and tried to find its own voice. This album gave it kind of a broader appeal, and it has a standing of one of the most essential hip-hop albums there is if you try to get into rap. Usually at some point you get to Illmatic. It established a lot of themes that you can hear in popular rap or hip-hop still today. For example, references to Scarface, the phrase "the world is yours," talking about yourself as the godfather, kind of internal rhyme schemes that still are catchy. These are some of the things that made this album special. This was the debut studio album of Nas, not trying to get too much into detail, but he was a very young guy and coming out of the gate swinging with this one. Even the release being pushed a little bit forward because of all the bootlegs going around, because he was so in demand. So if you want to search for the soul of hip-hop, this is one of the albums that you kind of have to listen to. And I would say that anybody who's like seriously into hip-hop knows about this album to some extent. And I bet that some of you, even if you have never heard about this album, will know at least one song of this album, or if you listen to the lyrics, will find a reference in the songs you hear right now. Thank you as always for watching and taking the time. I hope you found something new today that spiked your interest. In a couple of days or weeks I will sit down and kind of discuss or explain why these Hector's highlights are so important to me and why I scream into the void of the internet where we have all these opinions, and why I think what I do is kind of a contribution to the internet or to your life or is worth your attention. If you don't need an explanation, then thank you. Happy New Year. May it be a good one, and see you in the next one.